My name is Sam Royce. I've been a hunter for over 20 years, and I thought I'd seen enough strange things in the woods to be hard to surprise. But what happened last fall in the mountains of Montana shattered that belief forever. I am not writing this so that someone will believe me. On the contrary, I don't want anyone to go there. Let them think that Harper and I were drunkenly making up the story or that we were dreaming. The main thing is that no one goes into those damned woods near the Ridgewood Slope again, because there, something lives there. My partner, Jason Harper, and I went on a hike late in the fall, at the end of October. Even then the winds were biting cold and the morning sky was grey as ash. We planned to just follow a new route that Harper had spotted on old maps of the hunting grounds. That route was treacherously confusing. Old paths overgrown with bushes, fallen trees after storms, and sometimes complete silence, which chilled somewhere under the ribs. We wandered for half a day until we came to a place where a huge tree literally crushed part of the trail. Harper said, "Hell, it seems we sat in a puddle. We'll have to go at random." So they did. We made our way through thickets for an hour, then a second. The forest was getting thicker, the sun was not breaking through the treetops, and I was beginning to lose my bearings. I was about to suggest turning back when something white flashed through the trees. At first I thought it was snow, but it was still too early. Harper saw it too. "Hey Sam, it's not snow," he muttered. We came closer. White concrete walls could be seen behind the black tree trunks, cracked, collapsed, but cleared. Long building. Huge. She wasn't supposed to be here. It was not on any map. Letters hung on the rusty metal arch at the entrance. Some of them fell away, but others still held on. Ridgewood Wellness Retreat. "Health center?" Harper whispered. "In the middle of the forest." I didn't know what to answer, because from this building there was a chill that had nothing to do with the autumn wind. But we were hunters, researchers, and we still decided to go in. I still regret it. The glass door was broken a long time ago. The vestibule greeted us with decay, rot, humidity, dust. Old flyers with inscriptions were lying on the floor. "We will restore your peace. The soul is treated here." It looked like someone had tried to do it seriously, but now everything here was dead. I ran a flashlight over the walls. The plaster was crumbling. There were black spots of mold hanging from the ceiling, and something was scratching in the corner. Maybe a rat. "Listen, Sam, have you ever heard of this center?" Harper asked. "No. Maybe they closed it back in the 70s. "It's strange," he said, "because it looks as if he was simply abandoned, not closed, and they ran away." I didn't like all this. Even worse, although the sun was high, the inside of the building was as dark as evening. I was working with a flashlight all the time, and it seemed to me that the darkness wanted to absorb the beam. We moved along the corridor. On the walls hung old photographs of smiling people in white coats, leading patients through the same corridors. Only the photos were scratched, as if someone had scratched the faces of the photos with long fingernails. Harper leaned over. "Someone did it with their hands. Look, the furrows are deep." I saw it too. Fingers or claws left deep marks. I felt a cold sweat running down my back. We were about to turn back when a sound was heard from the depths of the corridor. Knocking. 3 strikes. Pause. 3 more. It was as if someone was knocking on a metal pipe. "It's the wind," I said immediately. What the hell is the wind? Harper spat. We are in a concrete bunker. I didn't want to admit it, but he was right. The sound repeated, and this time I heard clearly. It was rhythmic, as if someone gave a signal. Get out of here, Harper whispered. At least let's see what's there. He gave me a look like I was out of my mind, but followed me, and this was another mistake of ours. The corridor led us to a large hall. Ventilation pipes hung from the ceiling. Some of them were broken, others were kept on chains. 3 pianos stood abandoned in the middle of the hall. Dust covered everything except the keys of one of them, as if someone had played them recently. I felt my chest tighten. It can't just be like that, Harper whispered. Maybe there are people here, maybe tramps. Yeah, the ones that scratched the photos? I didn't answer. We approached the piano. The keys were worn out, as if from a long game, and warm. I touched them and pulled out my hand. Warm, someone was playing, just now. And then I heard behind me, pling. We turned around together. To the right, in a dark corner of the hall, stood a second instrument. On it, one key dropped by itself. I felt my legs get cold. We're leaving, Harper said, and right now. But before he had time to take a step, something fell into the ventilation above us. Chains shuddered, metal creaked, and black dust poured from the pipe. And the sound, low, fetal nutrition. Turn off the lantern, I whispered. Are you crazy? Turn off. And it wasn't until we froze in total darkness that I realized that what was feeding in the vent wasn't an animal. Animals don't whisper. And it whispered. The words were unintelligible. It was as if someone was talking backwards. But it was a human voice. Very old. Painful, prolonged. I closed my eyes, even though I couldn't see anything. We stood motionless for 30 minutes, maybe more, until the sound stopped, until there was silence again. Sam, Harper whispered. If we stay here another minute, they will take us out in sacks. And I agreed. We moved as quietly and slowly as we could, but as soon as we stepped out into the corridor, I heard the piano keys clicking behind us. 1, the 2nd, the 3rd. It was as if someone came into the hall as soon as we left and started playing. The corridor led us to the stairs. Apparently, they were once an emergency exit, but now the wooden door was dry and barely hanging on its hinges. We went down. There was total darkness. The air became heavier, more humid. It was as if we were going underground. Below was a narrow corridor with metal doors on either side. On each plate, patient 17, sleep therapy, patient 12, hearing therapy, patient 6, isolation therapy. My hands are cold. It wasn't a health center, I said. It was psychiatry, Sam. Underground God, Harper whispered. Some doors had viewing windows. All are hammered from the inside, scratched and black. Not from dust, as if everything inside was burnt. We moved on, even though every instinct told us to run back into the forest. But there was no walkie-talkie, no phone, and only this road loyally led out. Until we heard the first sound. Breath. At first we thought it was the echo of our own steps, but the breathing repeated. Low, hoarse, heavy. It sounded from behind the door of patient 12. I slowly raised the flashlight to the sign, and then I saw. Darkness could be seen through the observation window. Absolute. But among her, something was moving, something white, 2 specks, eyes. They were looking right at me. I recoiled. And then the door shuddered. Time. 2, 3. And a low, unnatural growl came from inside. Not human, not animal. A mixture of both. Harper grabbed my shoulder. Everything. We are running away. I didn't mind. We turned around, but a sound was heard from the end of the corridor. Guy steps, clear levels, medical boots on a concrete floor. Someone was coming to us, slow, confidently. We raised our arms. A figure emerged from the darkness, high, skinny, in a white robe, all polished with dirt and blood. Badge on the chest, Dr. Hellman, chief therapist. Only the face, as if painted, pale, unreal. He didn't blink and did not stop. "Stand!" Harper shouted. The figure did not stop. We retreated back. And then he spoke. His voice was quiet, but it echoed in the corridor as if through a loudspeaker. "Do not run in the corridors. It disrupts the therapeutic regimen." The voice was wrong. Stranded. It's as if someone made words out of other people's mouths. Harper fired. The figure swayed but did not fall. She just stopped and I smiled. At that moment I understood. This is not a person. And it never was. "Run!" I shouted. We ran down the corridor, forgetting about caution. Footsteps could be heard from behind, but now they were faster. And another sound. Shear it. As if something crawled through the wall. I don't look back. But I felt that there were many legs. We ran to the stairs and rushed up. Something fell heavily from behind, as if the monster doctors were finding it difficult to move together. And we are already through the main door, to the yard for the cold, to reality. We ran to the forest without turning around, until Jason thundered, "Sam!" I turned around. Figures stood on the roof of the center. Many, dozens, all in medical gowns. All are still. Everyone was looking at us. And then, one of them opened her mouth so wide that her jaw would have cracked and howled. Not a human voice, like a siren, like an alarm that used to be turned on in the center. And the guards from the roof began to descend, not by stairs. They just falling, and got up, and they went. We rushed deep into the forest without taking the road. The branches hit his hands and face. We were falling. They climbed up. They fell again. Footsteps sounded behind. Many. Too much. I was starting to think it was the end. When I saw the light. Headlight beam. Machine. Random tourists who stopped at the edge of the forest. We jumped right onto the road and fell to the ground. The monsters did not leave the forest. They just disappeared in the shadows of the trees. The mobs were afraid of light. We called the police. We were interviewed for several hours. But when they arrived at the place, there was nothing there. No building, no center, even the foundation. Only the forest. Thick, unnaturally dark. You just got lost, they told us. You had a dream. You are tired. But I know what we saw. And Jason knows. Only that he is now in a psychiatric hospital. He stopped talking. All the time he whispers something under his breath. The words sound backwards. And every night I wake up from a soft knock on the window. 3 strikes. Pause. 3 more. I'm afraid to open the curtains because I know a long white figure will stand in the darkness and she will wait. And you know what? The scariest part is not what we saw there. The worst thing is that the building has disappeared. The center was not abandoned. He's just moving and he is waiting for new patients. And maybe someday it will appear again in front of someone in the forest. Maybe in front of you. Move it along the corridor. On the walls hung old photographs of smiling people in white coats leading patients through the same corridors.